What is up, everybody? Welcome to NFT Pirates. Wanted to do another review of the one and only Superman #1 comic drop that just came out. It's absolute fire. I still can't believe that there's only 150 editions of the Legendary. Uh, and I was not going to lie, I was pretty critical of some of these edition runs previously because I thought as you read the comic that the wear and tear would increase on all the other grades, but I didn't realize that it came kind of preconditioned, so to speak, in either a very pristine format in a 9.8 as a legendary, as an epic at a 9.4, and then it continues to kind of recede down from there. And when we look at AR-15, the secret rare on Vivi, and when we look at Fantastic Four #1 secret rare, and when we look at AF-15, they're obviously higher edition counts, and on top of that, they don't have the same in real life price point. So this secret rare, or rather the legendary on Palm, this is really, really like the cream of the crop. I mean, you're taking that whole concept we talk about, which is scarcity and popularity, and putting them together, and you're creating that kind of masterpiece. So it really is, could be a once in a lifetime opportunity for people currently. And I think a lot of people are still trying to understand what it means, because this is the first time that we also see a comic in different grades. And with that, I really think this is going to diminish the value of mint numbers if, Palm Studios continues to drop their comics with these different grading conditions, because obviously to me that would, supersede the importance over the grade rather than, mint numbers. But that being said, some people really like this kind of old school comics. I'm going to actually go through one of Crypto Kaki's tweets in a little bit from now, just discussing some of the things that he found on the uncommon variant. And even though it looks like the most beat up, it also looks kind of like the most authentic and what you might see in real life. So there's a lot of speculation right now, but all I could tell you is that with only 150 editions, and with that type of scarcity and with that type of popularity, with this thing selling for 5.3 million in real life, and then all other editions only equal up to 3,000. I mean, even on AF-15, we still have an extra 7,000, right? And it's going to be really interesting too, because people may not be as interested in all these rarities that aren't like a 9.8, because you're going to have these comic book collectors that have literally all they've learned is the importance of having a really, really high grade. And now they're going to say, oh, I can get this Superman #1 for, 6K currently. It's just crazy. So anyways, a lot of people are in the chat right now. So Wes says this comic is absolute fire. Super VBK says, my man, I landed on epic Superman, insane. You and the other influencers super helpful for the community. I appreciate that, bro. That's super nice of you. Yeah, and one thing I just want to say too is I had the opportunity to snipe one at around 3,000, the legendary, and I got super greedy because I saw other ones come up at $800 to 1,200, and I was one of the first people into the secondary. And shout out to Vivi Vault, because I actually saw he had like a link that one of his fans gave him that was able to bypass the queue system. So I was able to get into the market because I had two computers going. Both of them went straight into the queue. I didn't even refresh on one. It just kicked me out completely. So it was a horrible drop for me. And as you know, I suck at drops. But it was really interesting because I had that opportunity to buy one for 3K, and I just kind of passed it up because I saw these other deals come in for the legendary, and not realizing how difficult it would be to snipe something, under 4 or 5K after that. I think the lowest from there was like 5,100 that I saw, but didn't have the liquidity for it. So I was kind of hoping to get in the 2-3K range. I have a few friends that sniped it in the 2-3K range. They just didn't care. Right as soon as it came out, they said, I'm just going to go for it. So it was pretty epic. And yeah, man, I think, Sean says it perfectly here. Me personally, like, I like the fact that mint numbers don't matter on Palm. It brings an equal playing field for all of us, less stressful to love the vintage look of the common and uncommon. So there we go. And that's kind of what I'm trying to say too, right? Like, there's going to be people that also just like these different types of variants. And if you think about the entire collection of Superman, it's still very scarce, only 3,000 editions. So it's really, really nice to kind of see also that Alex and Reese and all these other people were supporting multiple platforms and succeeding. And I know Matt Mason's been doing a great job of taking the community feedback. He did say over 100,000 people showed up on the drop today. And that's a lot of people, right? So I think this was the first time going through it. The queue system didn't really work for me. It was a really bad drop experience, but at the same time, man, when you have massive epic IP like that, it's huge. And congrats to Super VPK for landing the epic. That's amazing, man. I wish I landed something. It's that's my dream, just to get something really nice. Make it worth my while instead of always going in and spending all this money after the fact. And Wes, I think, actually bought an epic as well. So kudos to you, Wes, for doing that, my friend. Frank says, here, let me show it for everybody. So Frank says, I missed on drop after taxes feed, paid a little over 600 for the commons since there was other locked up. Worth it to me personally, only 3K total mins long-term hold. Exactly, dude. I agree with that. That's a good long-term hold for sure. I totally agree. And then, Chasing Sunday says, I got one too, but the queue needs work 100%. Oh, Tropical Bird. Tropical Bird actually sits in the Miles High Club. What's going on? Nice to see you. She says, didn't get anything on the Superman drop either. Yeah, I hear you, right? Can't have it all, I guess, right? Super VBK says, it's so exciting. We have this opportunity to buy the digital twin. Congrats to you too, man. A legendary is huge. Yeah, I didn't actually get a legendary. I wish I did. I kind of, like I said, I was trying to make a play around 2 to 3K and I didn't get it. So I let it ride, and I think it's going to go past 10K soon enough. But if it doesn't, I'll see if I can move some things around. But I think it's gone for me. It kind of sucks, but it is what it is, man. Like there's some things that, you can't have everything in this world. And I'm really, really excited for people that did get it. I think Spencer Vogel as well landed one, which is a really prominent NFT community member as well, who also did really well on the RFTK clones and stuff like that. And he's also part of Comics and Crypto. So it's nice to see somebody like him land. And these are once in a lifetime opportunities. Like we don't know if this is going to be, I'm sure that in the next bull cycle, we're looking at 100K plus comic, not financial advice, just my opinion. But if we're looking like well into the future, who knows what these things are going to be worth. So it's pretty unbelievable. Also wanted to kind of just share my screen quickly. So, let's just take a look at these different variants here. And also wanted to show what Crypto Kaki said. So this guy is an OG, man. He's done so much for the community. We did an interview early on together. So he goes, I'm just going to bring this tweet up. He goes, the uncommon Superman #1 is hiding something. I swear its mint is 888. Look it up. No other mint is repeating or significance. It's date stamped. No other has its date stamp. Plus it has the initials and it's 65 pages. The rest are 64. So I thought that was pretty cool. I'm going to see if I found another tweet of his that said something about the actual stamp. I swear I saw a tweet from him. But yeah, he just kind of goes and breaks it down and he like kind of pulls it up into more detail. Yeah, see, there we go. So look at this. So he highlights this because none of the other variants or none of the other graded Superman #1s actually have some of these little details here. So even though it's more beat up, like that stamp is on it and that's there. So I wonder if this is like potentially an actual, copy or something like that, right? So it's pretty. So this guy says, Petro here, he goes, yes, this is probably someone's true IRL comic. Comic stores used to stamp dates of arrival on books. Pretty insane, right? So who knows if there's going to be some future utility with that? I have no idea, but very interesting because everybody hates the uncommon. I don't know if you've noticed that. Everyone hates the uncommon, right? So maybe now this is going to be something that people will not hate the uncommon. So it's going to be really, really cool. And if somebody can just confirm that they actually could see that I shared my screen, that'd be highly appreciated because I'll just continue doing it. I'm still new to this new streaming software that I've got, but if you can just confirm that you saw me share my screen, that'd be super helpful. So here we go. So, Frank also says, never say never. Some are predicting even bigger recession in 2023. I hope not, but you never know. So there we go. It could be an opportunity, right? Again. And VV Fanboy says, I wonder if the guy that bought the physical knows that there is a digital version. Yeah, man. That'd be hilarious, right? Okay. So somebody says they couldn't see me sharing the screen. So this is good. So let me see if I can do this again here then. Share screen. Can you see it now? Okay, so can anybody see this? This is what I was talking about with Crypto Kaki with the like actual dates, implemented on the actual comic itself. And this is where somebody says in real life, this might be somebody's actual comic. And then I just wanted to take you through the rarities again as well, right? So can everybody see that? Can you guys see that now? Okay, sweet. Okay, cool. So yeah, now I can probably stop sharing this, which is sweet. There we go. I'm getting better at this now, fam. Thank you very much. Yeah, so check out Crypto Kaki's tweets, okay? Because it's been pretty interesting following that development. The other thing I just wanted to say too is that a lot of the Backal holders, like Legacy, like the Grail, like a lot of these OG cow holders have been talking about, DC for a long time. And one thing that they said that I actually do agree with, and I could have done a better job with this as well, is they said that they've been dropping so much utility for the Backals, and not many YouTubers are covering it like they should. Like we're still waiting on utility and MCP from Vivi, which don't get me wrong, it's like my main squeeze. It's my favorite company out there. But at the same time, there's all these other things being dropped. Like Backal holders got the Legacy #1 Cal, first DC comic on the blockchain. They recently got a Harley Quinn comic. They've got like a few accessories from Harley Quinn. They've got like, different geographical locations to a future game coming out. Like they've got so many airdrops. Like if you were to sell your cow and everything there for $300 purchase, you'd probably be looking at like close to $1,000 right now, right? So I just want to reiterate that. And I'll be honest, I didn't do a really good job. Sometimes I'm just so used to Vivi. It's what I know. It's what I'm familiar with. Had to follow and understand a whole new company sometimes is difficult. And I think they're now like upset because they're like, man, you guys have had these opportunities for so long to buy in at a good entry point, and now they drop Superman #1, and now everybody wants a cow. So anyways, so they've been speculating a lot about cows and potentially, and again, I'm not saying this is financial advice, but potentially there's going to be some more incentives for cow holders when it comes to comics and stuff in the future. So anyways, yeah. People are saying, is it worth $600? I mean, I can't give financial advice. All I could say is, if put it this way, if there is any whitelisting for future comics, or if they're, even let's just say something to do with like Detective Comics because of Batman or something like that, some kind of relationship there, I mean, that would still potentially be worth it, right? If you're getting whitelisted and you can say that like at least the common's gonna be $500, and on top of that, they drop utility every 52 days. So I'm even thinking about a second one as well. So I think that a lot of people should just consider it. I did a video with Matt Mason way back in the day. So yeah, man. So anyways, let me go through some more comments here. Yeah, so people are just so excited, man. Like, some people are saying it was such a stressful drop. I totally agree with that. It was a stressful drop. It's so exciting we have this opportunity to buy the digital twin, man. Yes, for sure. I wonder if the guy that bought the physical, yes, I went through a few of these already. Okay, there we go. And this guy here, okay, sick, man. So VV fanboy, he owns 2 cow holders and picked up a third this week. Good for you, bro. Yeah, and the minimum cow price is friggin', $600. Yo, and we got VV Vibes in the house, man. VV Vibes, go check out his channel. Amazing dude in the community. He just did a massive stream with Randy Shabazz, like 69 hours. It felt as though you're almost there for half of it. So yeah, man, just really wanted to kind of talk about this comic and just make sure people know the importance of it. And if we got SR Secret Rare AF15 with 250 editions, in a total of 10,000 mints, at a $9,000 or $10,000 floor price right now, then Superman #1 with only 150 at a really high grade, it's just exceptionally scarce and exceptionally popular. And with the in real life version selling for 5.3 mil, I mean, it's just a no brainer at this point, right? If you want to, put it this way, if NFTs are going to fucking fail, I mean, that put it this way, that things fails, NFTs fail, right? That's what I'm trying to say. And let me pull up Mark. I don't know how to say his last name properly, but he is a pretty sick dude. Huge collector on VV. And I just want to say that I've been following him for a while, and he's just super intelligent when it comes to like collecting and buying and flipping and stuff like that. So let me see if I can share my screen again. Yeah, let me share that screen here. Yes, we got Mark. So yeah, you might have seen Mark's videos back in the day. This guy does amazing YouTube content as well. Anyways, he goes, how many people own SR Marvel Comics #1, SR Amazing Fantasy 15, and now Legendary Superman? And I fucked around. I was like, I own all three, which is totally false. So I'm wondering how many people, did that. But yeah, man, Mark actually has all three. And so he's a pretty legit guy. And I think he's, super bullish on where some of these comics are going as well. And just so many whales, man, in here that, really kind of see the writing on the wall and are ready to kind of kick it with everybody and make sure that they get these amazing drops. You know what I mean? So pretty epic. Yo, Johnny Dunn, man. Yo, buddy, let me say Johnny Dunn is in the house. And then I think Johnny landed something crazy today. Johnny, I don't know if I want to. Okay, yo, Johnny's put some stuff in the comments. Look at this shit. Chad, you won't believe this, brother. Laugh out loud. I got one at work today at the fucking golf course. It was the craziest story ever and got the legendary 9.8. Johnny, I love you and I fucking hate you at the same time, dude. That is crazy, bro. Like, that could be 100K in your pocket. You know what I'm trying to say? It's insane that people are like, we're in a bear market and like the NFTs are dead. And I'm like, dude, you're busting out things like these, which 100% makes you 6K. At minimum, made you 6K today, US, for which to me is like $8,500. That's a free vacation to like Costa Rica. You know what I mean? Like, it's just hilarious how people are saying that this stuff's not gonna be worth it long term. 100% it's going to be, man. And Johnny, just want to Johnny's been plugging away, man, since the beginning. He's he's a real OG. He's got a huge following, especially on Twitter. I think you're at like 16,000 followers. So that's crazy that you landed that at the golf course, bro. Like, I'm so jealous. Like, so jealous. I had 2 computers, both of them crashed, both of them went to the queue. I got kicked out. I tried to buy things on the secondary. I had an attempt for $3,000, missed that. Tried to get something for like 6. And then I was like, you know what, this is too much money. And I had to just be calm. And even though I think it's probable that it goes over 10, you just got to be calm in those situations. And this is the whole thing I'm saying, like with dollar cost averaging, who knows, maybe Action Comics #1 comes out next week on Palm and Superman #1 drops a bit and then I jump in. So just trying to be calculated, don't want to do too much crazy stuff. But Johnny, that's amazing, bro. And you're the drop master. And the fact that you landed that is just so epic, bro. So big kudos to you, my man. That's so cool. So let me read some more comments here. Raven's in the house. What's up, Raven? Thanks for being here today. Really appreciate you. Cop the Common. Yo, like, Danny, that's still amazing. What do you got there? That's like $500 and it probably is going to continue to go. So that's amazing. VV Vibes, I got a comment on the Superman drop. So if you think about it, guys, let's do a simple comparison, right? You look over at AF15 SR, you know that there's 6,000 commons. You know that that's going for $400. We're not saying that VV and DC are maybe have the same, fan base or enthusiasm. Maybe there's some differences, and that's why there's some more hesitation on people purchasing, the common that's like 1,200 editions. But it's pretty scarce. Like, if you think Secret Rare Spider-Man has 1,000 editions, and the common has, only 1,200, and it's, like I don't know, when you do the math on that, you got to start thinking, okay, this maybe could continue to run up. But again, you don't want to FOMO in as well. It's a new platform. People aren't 100% sure if this is going to, have a super good longevity. And I think it definitely will, but I'm just trying to give you some comparisons. That's how I do things. And that's why when I saw that legendary only going for like a few thousand today, I was trying to make a move on it, because I was like, man, this is 100% big ROI. So yeah, everybody's congratulating you, Johnny. Congrats, buddy. It's so crazy. Congrats on getting a common too, man. That's amazing. It's so cool. Chasing Sundays in the house. JD smashing still for sure. Jerry Doe, the drop was a joke. Yeah, the drop was shit. Like, let's be real, man. We all got screwed. Most of us got screwed except for a few of us. Remind me of the OG VV days when people that just were beside a cell tower or like got super good drop success just did really well. Man, I got screwed on that. And I had my whole family in it, man. Everyone was on different computers. I was telling them everything. I was like, hey, it's got to be, the dc.com/comic book page or whatever. And I was like, okay, when it happens, refresh the screen. That's what Discord was saying at this exact time. I didn't refresh on one. I refreshed on the other, and both, it still didn't work for me. So VV fanboy, he says NFTs aren't going anywhere. 100%, bro. Yo, let's see what Johnny said here. Haha, the alien gods bless me again. Hope all's been well for sure, man. Well, Johnny's a great guy. He deserves it, man. Oh, VV Vibe says Johnny drunk on White Claw, shaking his shots at course, lands a legendary on drop. But for real, congrats. I wish I was on the golf course with you, Johnny. Like, that'd be so crazy. You know, you're just golfing with Johnny, and you know the guy lands a perfect drive right beside the hole. Friggin', he's gonna birdie it, and then he looks at you and he's like, "Hey, man, I just made $6,000," and you're like, "What are you talking about?" You're like, "Just landed this Superman #1." I mean, insane, man. Congrats, Johnny. Yes. Yo, everyone's giving him some huge love in here. And if you haven't subscribed to Johnny's channel too, man, please, please do it. The guy is so genuine, so knowledgeable. He's got so much OG tactics, and he's just been like, I don't think he's really sold too much. Like, he's holding a lot of his stuff. So, yo, vibes. He says, lol, it was crazy busy day too. I was going crazy in the pro shop. Just got the Wi-Fi with 2 minutes left too. I'm still in a high from it. Man, you know, one thing I just want to say too, you know, for a lot of people that don't really know me, I bartend as well. And, you know, I work 9 to 5, and then I do this kind of as like a side hustle. And it's just crazy because, you know, you're out there bartending and you're making like a few $100 a night, right? Like maybe you make over a weekend $1,000 or $1,200 cash, and it's nice. And you're like, oh, this is huge help. But it's just messes with your mind when you're like, oh, I could go onto this drop and make like $6,000 or even more than that. Like, it just messes you up, you know, because you think it's that easy. And that the thing is that it's better than winning a lottery, because look how many people in this chat alone landed, right? But it's just insane. The opportunities right now are insane. So anyways, we're all forward thinking, we're all here. Yo, Johnny says, are you going to Anaheim, man? I think I'd love to. I'm gonna try my best. I'm off to Barbados the week after with my wife, so right now it's just a matter of timing it and trying to get things off work. So that's the hard part for me, but I would love to be there. Yeah, there's common is definitely stuck. I saw that too. I was trying to buy that one for 180. There was like another legendary that was stuck at like 2,600 that like didn't leave for 3-4 hours too. So I don't know how that works, but yeah. Oh man, someone accidentally floored a legendary for 751 to 2 hours ago. This is why, you know, if you're up and you're like up tonight for the next 6 hours and you're serious about making money, who knows, man, you might land something. So, yo, we got Kyle Wilson in the house. Yo, Kyle, man, big YouTuber here. I think he's got like 10K subs. He is the creator of the Red Circle movement. So if anybody didn't know that, the whole thing why everybody has red circles in their name is because of Kyle. It's insane that he even started that. And he's been on some huge friggin' shows like, you know, like the Barron Network and Paul Barron and whatever. So it's like, it's crazy how much you've done, Kyle. And yeah, man, I think you also put out a joke saying that you landed the legendary, and I actually thought you did. And I was like, I was so mad. But I know 2 people within like the space that have landed legendaries that are like, I would consider them friends. Like Johnny's landed one, and then another guy, Spencer as well, that both posted it from Comics and Crypto. So pretty fucking cool. Yeah, so Mecha says I bought in the secondary common for 455. Hopefully this go up. I think, you know, there's a good chance for that, man. Pixel Trader, yo, we got another person from Miles High Club in here. What's up, dude? You can feel the shift in NFTs. Reddit is mass adopting them. Twitter is implementing them more, including PFP. Exactly. Like, we know that this stuff is going to go up, man. Like 100%, 100%. Johnny deserves it. Good vibes for sure. Jerry Cloud, these fuckhead NFT sites tell us to be there a half hour early, and then they fuck early people over. Laugh out loud. That's fair. I mean, I was there an hour and a half early on 2 computers, bro. I was there on an hour and a half early, and then it came down to that final second, and it's just like, you know, everything went sour for me. And then Q hits me out, and it's like, you're going to be an hour and a half wait, you know, and you just see this little bar, and then you're hearing all these people on all the live streams being like, landed legendary, landed this, and, you know, and you're just like, man, like, and especially you don't realize, but sometimes like being so heavily invested into this space, like I put so much time and energy into this stuff, and it's just like you wish that you get something back sometimes. Don't be wrong, I get it back from like the community and seeing other people win, but sometimes you're just like, man, I just want to win one thing. Like, just give me something. So trust me, bro. Like I know what you're feeling, man. Like it was a crazy, it was a shitty feeling, 100%. Like, and then afterwards, I couldn't even buy into something. Like, I didn't time it right, so I wanted to make a move at around 3K for a legendary, and then I had one queue. I forget what I pulled up at, like 3,400 or something right away, and then I saw these ones like in there for a lot cheaper. And I like, instead of just going with that, which would have been a smart move, I was like, I got greedy. So, not everybody's gonna have their day all the time. Like the best I ever had was on VV when I think I told everybody I had that like Mickey hat show up. It was number 43. I bought it for 2K. I flipped it for like 11 something, and I made like, I don't know how much money, like 9 grand, like that, right? So everybody's gonna have their day. Today wasn't mine. Kyle OG for sure, man. Kyle is the dude. Johnny Dunn, Danny DeBull. Jerry Cloud, the VV logo will be under 3K soon. Yeah, I could see that. I think like the utility piece is what everybody was really hyping up. But the one thing that I keep thinking about is like VV's mission is all about accessibility, inclusivity, equity, diversity, all that crap. And so I always say, like, if they made that like the like Club 33 and gave some people just insane utility, like access to drops, whatever, you're gonna have people holding 100 plus sets that are gonna get pissed. You're gonna have other people that wouldn't be there in person. So I think they're gonna offer some really cool things. But I think it's gonna be more like physical stuff, merchandise, hangouts, clubs, that kind of stuff. I don't know if it's going to be like crazy utility, right? But that's what I'm thinking. NFTs is building a spirit bomb right now. Yeah, and that's the other thing too, guys. This is why you always want to elevate other NFT projects, because we're all part of the same fandom, and the same, sorry, not fandom, like the same area of the space of the NFT space that we want to grow. And so every time everyone's helping each other up, it's more and more nets that are being putting out there, catching new people, right? And literally all you need is one person that doesn't even believe in NFTs. All you need them to do is land one drop. It could even be a common like this, like as an example, and they make $500 and they're an instant believer. Because why? Because if they cash out that $500, and they're not that well off, man, all of a sudden that's paying for their kids, whatever, soccer equipment, or it's help putting a dent in their mortgage, or they're leveraging that for the next drop, and then they make 1,000, and then they make 2,000. And as much as I don't want to say like that, the financial incentives is the number one incentives. Sometimes it is, man. Like a lot of people chase things for status. So, as shallow as that might sound, that is part of the game. So. Pixel Trader, calling them moments or digital collectibles, helping so much. People are slowly learning. VV is way ahead of the game for sure, bro. Like you said, they came out with that first, really, like digital collectibles. And people are kind of going, "What is that? That's not an NFT." So I might have to change my name to like Digital Collectible Pirate, which sounds so bad. I'm going to keep it as NFT Pirates. Drinks on Johnny at Anaheim. Yeah, Johnny, drinks on you, bro. I need like something sexy, like for what you. Let me think about what I want. I want either a glass of. Maybe Lagavulin, 16 year, or I'm gonna get maybe a Glenlivet 18 year, or like some 20-year-old tequila. Like you gotta get me, you gotta treat us, Johnny. Yeah, man. So yeah, I'm gonna keep going through this. How the fuck do you bartend 95? What does that mean? I think you should. Oh no, not 9 to 5. I have a day job, right? So like I work at a hospital in the day. So I'm a project manager at a hospital, and then at night 3 to 4 times a week I'll go bartend, and then the nights that I'm not working, I'm doing this, and I'm hanging out with my wife, and taking the dog on a walk, that kind of stuff. So hey, what's up, Ryan? Ryan's in the house. How are you, bro? VB vibes. There's nothing to do but to drink in Canada. You know what? I'll take that on the chin. I agree. Laugh my ass off. Love you, brother. Thanks, buddy. Oh, 9 p.m. to 5. Okay. No. Like I bartend, bro, only from like, let's say like 4:30, 5 o'clock to like 11 to 1 or 2. One of those things. Depends on the night. Ryan, one of the best showroom creators. That's for sure, man. Ryan is amazing at that stuff. If you haven't checked him out, Ryan, maybe throw your channel and stuff in or your Twitter and stuff in the chat, bro, so people can follow you. I was talking about the insane opportunity we have as well. Being early to this and smart with FAs will pay off big time. Yeah. So let's just think about this for a second, right? If you met somebody in real life with amazing fantasy 15, fucking, let's just say like Marvel 1 SR or Marvel 1 because they don't have a SR in real life, and then also Superman #1, you'd be like, this guy is rich or is like an insane collector or has been holding for 40 plus years. Like that's the only way around it. So now we're bringing that over into the digital age. And like I said, even if they drop another Superman #1, another comic, the second edition, it's never going to hold the same value as the first. Like even in my opinion, if they like made it super scarce, like one of like 20 editions or something like that for like the second edition Superman #1, I don't think it would still hold the same value because it's already been dropped, right? This is the first time on the blockchain for Superman #1, right? Now, the other thing that's interesting is that Superman, dropped on VV first in terms of first on the blockchain. So that's kind of an interesting dynamic as well. But then we already saw that play out because we had the secret rare Spider-Man drop on the blockchain first. AF15 came out later, but because AF15 is still so popular, it still retained a really, really high price point. But if you would have had AF15 come out as the first Marvel NFT, and that was like Spider-Man, first appearance of Spider-Man in real life and in the physical, man, or in the digital, that would have been massive. So Kyle says, much love. Yeah, man, much love to you too. Got a comment. Superman on the drop, grab 2 uncommons and 1 rare in the secondary. Huge future potential. Good for you, VV Gems. That's amazing, man. Yo, Brandon landed the epic on the drop. Congrats, Brandon. That's insane, bro. Johnny says, I instantly listed mine for 5K. Didn't know it was legendary. Secret texted me saying, you have the legendary. I said, oh my God, I delisted it. Said someone reserved it 5 minutes later. My delisting worked. That's so funny, man. You got to be careful with that, bro. That's so funny that you didn't even know you had the legendary because you're out there golfing, living it up, man. What a good day for you, bro. What a good day. Jerry says, I had 3 keys sitting there to hit the market. I end up stuck in some queue for an hour. Bro, so that's kind of what happened to me. Like I had some money ready to go, but I wasn't stuck in the queue right away. But that's too bad, bro. BV Vibes, let's go. I saw an epic for 300 shortly after the drop, but was locked up. Damn. It was rigged. They gave out info for their friends. Man, I felt like that was what was going on. I mean, obviously it wasn't, but who knows, right? There's definitely damn, it was crazy, man. 9K, where else can you make that quick money? Yo, that's what I'm saying. Like where can you make 9K like that if you're lucky, right? It's just crazy. Jesse in the house. I managed to mint an uncommon and grab a legendary at 2.4K. I decided to take profits and ended up with 5K at cash out, kind of regretting selling, but didn't want to get greedy. Yo, Jesse, I mean, that's still a good day, bro. 5K, I mean, you're probably American, so it's still 5K, but that's like, that's approaching 7K my money here. So that's unbelievable, man. Like, good for you. Good moves. Legendary 2.4K. That's crazy. Like, yeah, I wish I snagged that like you, bro. That's impressive, man. Good for you. And like, fuck, 5K on that. That's what I was telling my wife. I was like, babe, don't worry. I'm gonna figure out a way to like make us 5K today. I was hoping to do what you did. I was gonna move around, get that legendary, sell it at like 11 or 12 when the full moon was hit, take out 2 to 3K, and then reinvest it once it kind of sell it down. That was my plan. But it didn't work out for me, man. You know what? And I had an opportunity at about 3,300. And like I said earlier, I was early and I saw other deals coming in that were cheaper. And I got greedy and I went back into the market instead of just taking it at 3.3. So, yeah, man, you can't win them all, brother. Ecosystem, homie, sick. Rising tide lifts all ships. That's what I'm trying to say. That's the quote I was looking for, Danny. You got it, man. Rising tide lifts all ships. That's what we're trying to talk about. So whenever you see another NFT project and you're like, oh, well, VV is like the main one or this is the main one, like, man, you got to lift that project up because those are people that may only want to be part of DC or may only know DC or it's their first entry into the NFT space. And if we're putting them down or making comparisons or not being open or being like, oh, well, I bought a cowl on here first 6 months ago or whatever, and now you're coming in and you want to be a part of it, that's just like, that's negative energy, man. Like that's going to deter and distract and take people away from those projects and we want to just make sure that this is an inviting space and and want people to kind of like everybody to grow, man. So I really think that like licensed IP and NFTs are going to flip out all these other things eventually. So Matt says, yo, I'm still in the queue. Yes, sir. That's hilarious, Matt. Yeah, man. You know what? I probably am too. Jerry says, rising tides drowns people on shore. I'm not gonna lie, you guys are killing me tonight, man. That's funny. Johnny, if you can't make an Anaheim, we'll definitely think of another time soon. No worries. Thanks, bro. This is the beginning. Yes, sir. Lowest price available on Superman is $500. What the fuck? Yeah, well, man, like, what do we expect, right? Like, lowest price on AR-15 is what? $400, $400 probably, and that's got what is that now? 7,000 more mints, and it doesn't sell as high in real life. It's still a big deal, but it's like the Superman #1 in comparison is more expensive comic, so it only makes sense. I wouldn't be surprised to see that at like, a grand eventually. So, but again, it just depends on the FOMO. Like we might, because it's still a new platform, people might be hesitant. So we'll see. Yo, we got Andrea in here, Miles Morales, Secret or Flip, Spider-Man, Peter Parker, SR, just a matter of time, popularity and scarcity. Yeah, I'd love that. I mean, I'm gonna obviously not financial advice, but hey, man, if that is the next gen Spider-Man, and there's 1/7 or 1/8 of the editions, and who knows what could happen, right? Especially if it is that next gen, and we see a big movie come out in like 2025. So I'm patiently waiting. It'll have its day. That's Ryan. What's gives oh, there we go, Jerry. Now I got 3K sitting in DC Palm. I have to wait weeks for when I cash out. Fuck. That sucks, man. You'll only convince Miles holders, Matt. Did Johnny not even post on his Twitter that he got the legendary because it's not VV related? Man, I think it's also like one thing that we want to say too is like I guess an influencer. Like I know I'm pretty amateur still, but we have fun in this space. But people, what's so funny, whenever you get something decent, people are like, "Oh my god, they gave it to you," or "You signed an NDA." I'm like, man, I've got like I didn't get anything like that, man. So put it this way, if I got the legendary, there's no way. Like if I ever signed an NDA with DC and they were like, Chad, you can have a legendary NFT if you're Superman #1. There's no way I could contain that. I'd be like screaming on my Twitter, being like, guys, so yeah, man. Miss Mama Mia comes in. She says, I wanted to get a Miles SR versus 2 Walls versus Spidey SR Peter Parker. My son really likes Miles. I want to get it from him. Pretty sick, yeah. And there's so many ways to play with your money. The other thing too, which kind of sucks, but if you're flipping, moving your gems around, that just seems to be the way that people are really making the big bucks right now. Is that they're kind of going in, chasing the FOMO, chasing the hype. Like they would be in, for instance, Superman right now, riding it to like the kind of the peak, and then selling, and then waiting for Action Comics #1, or waiting for VV to release something in the next few weeks, and then just keep flowing around, taking money out. So they really got to start incentivizing holders soon, because it's not the holders that are winning right now. I hear you got beat up in Idaho if you wear a Miles Morales t-shirt. Well, I haven't been beat up yet, Jerry, so I'm still doing all right, man. I got the uncommon, luckily nonetheless, considering the shift show. Yeah. That is lucky, man. Good for you. And you hear what I said about Crypto Kaki's tweet about like how it's got a lot of the original stuff on it. So definitely check that out. Like, yeah, let me see if I can show you one more time. Actually, I'll just pull it up because I thought it was pretty cool. I didn't really notice it at first, and maybe somebody else noticed it as well. So we'll see. But yeah, it was pretty epic, man. Because it looks more real to me. Like it looks like an actual printed Superman comic, as the other one looks like super NFT like, which is amazing as well. That's kind of what we're going for. That's the whole reason we have NFTs. But it was pretty amazing just to see. So let me see if I can share my screen here. Yeah, so this is what Crypto Kaki posted. See that? Like he's got the red circle in June, like with a stamp, and then the other kind of writing. So it looks real. Like that's the thing that's so crazy. So yeah, it's pretty cool, right? All right, let me see if I can catch up with these comments. There's a lot of good ones, man. So Johnny lands everything. My man doesn't miss. Yeah, he's a legend. Also, how low will SR Miles? Keep hearing 2.5K, but not sure that's going to happen when only like 15 to 20 really for sale. That's true. Yeah, I mean it could continue to drop, but I think it's still super low, and I think people want to enter as well. So I hope DC Palm NFTs do well. It's going to spread awareness about digital collectibles, and those users will overflow to VV. I bet most of the DC comic fans also like Marvel, Disney, Star Wars, etc. 100%. It's kind of like exactly what we just saw with VV going over to Palm, right? Like if it wasn't like, that's the thing that people forget. Like if it wasn't for VV kind of being the leader in the space, maybe they wouldn't even get the traction that they got, because there was also a lot of people fudding DC when they put out that Superman #1 drop, saying like, oh, I don't want to buy a reprint or a remint, or I want it's never going to be the original, ha ha ha, like people like making fun of it. So yeah, a lot of people don't believe in the redone stuff, right? A lot of people believe in new IP. That's why, again, Bored Apes and all this new stuff does really well, is because it's like hasn't been done before. So it's just interesting. AF-15 will be the most valuable book in 20 years, not Superman, despite its scarcity advantage. Well, in 20 years from now, Jerry, I mean, I might be dead, man. So I'm focused on the next 5. But I agree. Who knows what could happen? It depends on how they both play out. Yo, what? Did you just say you bought? Oh, 1.8K you just bought. So you just bought the Epic. VV Fanboy just bought the Epic for 1.8K, I think. Good for you. Good word. We need positive vibes. Yes. Can uncommon, comic, flip, rare, and epic. Date printed on cover. There we go. So that's what I'm trying to say. Who knows, man? I mean, who knows? Like maybe they have something special for the uncommon, because remember on VV, everybody hates the uncommon. It's like a trend, and maybe like DC's picked up on that, and it's just like, okay, let's actually make the uncommon something like that's really cool and unique. So who knows? Today's Marvel Zombies is still available. There we go. The stamp with date, like it was an OG one scanned. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That looks real. Like it looks crazy. Oh, for sure. I bet 40% of cowl holders are VV users. Same with Hero. Tons of the VV fam got on it. Yeah, exactly. VV vibes. Loving that we staying on top right now of uncommon cover. Looks authentic as fuck. Yeah, man. I totally agree. Like it just looks cool. Like, I don't know. Like it looks like an actual, like you guys said, it looks like it's actually been like printed or like taken from real life and like used as a scan or something. Like it looks pretty cool, man. So yeah, and that legendary though, that is a clean cover, man. Like that is super bright. I'm gonna share my screen again because I just want to talk about it. It's insane. Like it's so crazy. So if you look at that, like look at this cover, man. So the floor right now, 62,500, which is not cheap. Because that for me is like 8,500 Canadian, right? Highest price is only 800,000, which is, pretty affordable. But look at how those colors pop. And to me, this is what's so interesting about an NFT, because we will never get in the world another comic that will look that vibrant, that's physical, right? NFTs now give you that chance to have something that's actually going to be that vibrant and that beautiful. And then on top of that, DC goes, yeah, and you know what? We're only going to make 150 of them. And to me, all subsequent Superman number ones from this day forward will never have the same worth in a digital format or a physical one. So this is the one-time transition right now, and you're looking at that comic and you're going, damn, And so I don't know. For me, if I had the money, I'd be buying that up. But again, I don't have the money right now, so I'm not going to be buying that. So yeah, DC supposedly stepping up their movie game to be more like Marvel. I think DC could become much more popular than it is. Yeah, I agree in the future. James Gunn coming to DC, super exciting. That's pretty solid. Yeah, man. I wonder if DC will keep using super low mints to differentiate from Marvel Comics. 3K is just a huge difference from an older 30 to 60K VV comic drops. Yes. And things that I keep saying, guys, is that like in Pokemon collecting in 2006, they had the lowest interest ever. They printed the least amount of cards ever. And again, the price points on those cards back in the day were super low. And then what happened was that whoever had the conviction or the guts to buy these things up and waited on them for like 10 years ended up making like hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? So, some of these cards are like $300, let's just say, for like a Gold Star Charizard, ended up being like 40,000 at a PSA 10. So that's the kind of where we can go from here. And I think it's kind of the same thing, like all-time low interest, even though there's 100,000 people on that drop today, that's still not a ton. And I just think that there's massive upside, especially as we get more big whales in here. And, it's surprising, right? You think you only need 150 big whales to take, this thing past heights you never would have thought imaginable. But, it seems like nobody has that liquidity right now or that confidence. So it's interesting. It's interesting for me because I'm so like set on NFTs being the future, or digital collectibles, or whatever you want to say, that it's just almost interesting when I'm like, oh, how do I even have a chance to get something this significant? It's like kind of like if you gave me something really cool in real life, like a Superman #1 comic, and you're like, here it is, man. If you want a 9.8, it's only $6,000. And I'm like, oh, like, maybe that's a bit of a jump, but you know what I'm trying to say? Like, it seems like almost unbelievable that we have this opportunity in our lifetime right now. Kyle says, yeah, they learned from VV 100%. So Crypto King says, it would have been funny if VV dropped Captain America #1 the same day as the Superman #1 bomb drop. Yeah, That's a good point. Like, and it makes me wonder what the dynamic is between VV and DC. Like, if it's kind of a Pepsi and Coke style, like if VV is like Coke, and they're like, we want DC to like really kind of step up and have all these other successes as well, because again, it's going to help us out. And then like maybe they're going to be so many shifts, like, oh, this week, VV's dropping this and that, like Hulk #1, and then maybe Action Comics #1 comes out on Palm. But the issue is, guys, this is what I keep saying, is like this. Some of this stuff is only going to last for like 3 to 4 years, in terms of like DC might run out of options, and not so distant future, once they drop all their comic books and all their characters are out, as at least like VV has like all these brands that are signed within their company, so they can just continue to go and continue to kind of have different things incorporated. So it's going to be interesting. Sorry, Jerry says the problem with Superman books is that they're truly digital reproductions of in real life books. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point too, right? It's like that's the part, maybe that's still, people are speculating. They're still not 100% certain that that's, the same thing as the real, or could even be, projected as the same thing. People are like, oh, is it still a reprint? Like, I can go to Chapters or a store or a bookstore right now and pick one up that's in a, that's just in a nice book for like $100. Like, why is this any different if they made a limited edition of the physical? Like, so I get what you're trying to say, but I think from what I've been learning is that it's shared IP in Web3. And to me, like, if you have that as a PFP, or if you have that as like an interoperable asset, that is massive. Like, if you have that like legendary Superman #1 as an interoperable asset on the blockchain, damn, like, it's over, man. It's over 100%. Like it's over. The original Superman comic from 1939 has 10 cents on the cover. The ones on Palm don't. So that does that make it a facsimile instead of a reprint of the original? Crazy Dan, let me think about this. The original comic cover from 1939 has 10 cents on the cover. Oh, I see what you're trying to say. So like, if it's shared IP, then ideally it would be like the exact same covers and all that stuff. So I mean, yeah, I mean, and it's an interesting, right? It's interesting because this is the whole debate. This is where some people will believe that it is the one-time revolution from physical to digital, where now these things exist on the blockchain for the first time, and that they could be used for so many things, like for utility, for social capital, for the preservation of these physical assets, etc. And other people are in the other camp, where they're like, oh, the only real version is in real life, and this is just another, reprint or whatever. So I can't give you that answer, man, but it's going to be continue to be thought about over time, and I think that people will kind of get behind it either way. But I think for me, if I was like a big time millionaire, I would much rather personally have a ton of these ones that are on the blockchain first, because I just think about the future of them having so much more benefits for me, rather than just being something enclosed in a case. I think about like social capital. I think about, having these comics in augmented reality just in my living room as people enter with their AR glasses. I think about, having them as potentially holograms in the future. I think about, the VVverse or metaverses and where I could store them. I think about the ability to have instant transactions. There's just so much more that I think you get out of NFTs or digital collectibles, and it's just going to take a while to get there. I'm kind of glad DC didn't follow the exact same formula of VV. They copied the 5 rarities, but the comics are graded damage, no mints, and exact prints of the IRL comic on the inside. Yeah, I love that as well. Like, I think it's a really kind of unique take on the comics, which makes it kind of exciting and fun. That it's like you said, it's not just the rinse and repeat, right? So yeah. Oh, Chasing Sunday says, fun stream chat. I'm out for the night. Yo, thanks for showing up, man. I appreciate that. Have fun tonight, dude. What is the price settled at? Well, it looks around 6,200 right now for the legendary, and then 500 is like, seems to be the floor for any Superman comic, and kind of goes up from there, man. It looks like Epic's, just under 2K, like 1,800 ish. Red Hot Snacks. I prefer the lower edition runs to the larger runs, simply because the demand would be true and show reduced FOMO and manipulation. Yeah, I agree with that. And it's crazy now because we're in a bear market and you're like, oh my God, 60,000 editions on VV of like Marvel 1. And like, and it's just like, it screws with your head. Like, think about that, man. Like, let's just take a look at this. Marvel 1 in its all-time high for the common was like $800 to $900, and that's at like 32,000, I think, editions or something like that, or maybe even a little more. And here we have the common that's at 1,200 editions, and it hasn't even broke the all-time high for Marvel 1 SR. So think about that. That's pretty nuts, right? You can also argue gem exploit, artificial manipulation, whatever, but I'm just kind of giving you a raw comparison. Matt Wood, I bet a lot of the accounts today are not KYC, which you need to list in the market. That should help the value stay propped up because not everyone can sell right now. Matt, nice, man. I like that. Hopefully you're right, so I can get in on this. I like this, Matt. Good stuff. I'm going to see if I can pin that comment. I'm going to star that comment. There we go. I like that. Yo, Eric says, what up, my man? Got super lucky and scored uncommon today after getting put back into the queue with 10 minutes to go. Scored at 12:15. Amazing, blessed. Yo, happy for you, man. Congratulations. That's unbelievable. Yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy that, so many people scored in here, man. Super jealous, bro. I'm happy they kept the old ads. I posted a tweet with this pic. Feels like it's going into a time machine from 1939. Yeah, feels authentic. Feels like the original in your hands. It feels really cool. It's a different feeling. So, and again, man, I don't have one. So what the heck am I saying? But I will be getting one soon enough. I'm just waiting for the right time. Got to get the liquidity, and I'm getting more calculated here. I used to just kind of try to FOMO into things, but now I'm getting more calculated. So is Palm Next D comic going to be the Batman #1? I mean, the only thing I'm going to say, Crypto King, is like if they release like Action Comics #1, Detective Comics, all these things that are huge, like they're gonna run out of things fast. So if I was them, I would like space that stuff out. Like I would, every 6 months or whatever, I would space it out. And then I would just continue with like all these other really good comics in the interim. There's so many from DC that they could release. So, but yeah, I would wait till maybe this is like your intro kind of thing, but I would wait for a while before I would do that personally. But yeah, who knows, man. I just bought Spider-Man comic #1 ultra rare for 108 gems. I'll wait for Action Comic. Wow. Nice, man. Good for you. Yeah, that's pretty solid. Damn. I hear what you're saying. Like it's still, people wait till the hype comes down and everything like that. That's and it's the same trend, right? We see it all the time if we go through like all these drops, man. What's crazy is also seeing Marvel 1 SR, like just the whole pattern there. Like it started off, came out, August 2021. It started off at like 1,200 and then it went to like 50,000 over like 3 to 4 weeks. Then it came back down. And then once it came back down, everybody rotated that money back into the collectibles. And then the all-time high for Marvel 1 SR was like 120, and now it's like 8K. So, I mean, what a swing, right? Seems like the varieties are a combination of VV and Hero, labeling not original and does not have the 10-cent on cover, but does have advertisement in the cover. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's a good mix of like all those things. And maybe they've done some more analysis where they're like thinking that that's the best way to kind of engage, This Palm blockchain, too centralized. I like IMAX much better for long-term growth. Let's keep fighting this comic. Let's bring it down to the ground so we can all get a good entry point, right? Yeah, man. I mean, no, but I agree with you. I think that there's still a lot to, to get out of this. Like I definitely think their queue system needs to be improved hugely. Because I was pretty pissed off about that drop and I just want to have a fair shot. And I'm just tired of not having a fair shot. Like it just sucks getting like, kicked out like that, man. When Pirates has, bro, I've got Pirates clothes, man. Here, let me see if I can actually show you guys my clothes because I've only got 2 people that have bought my clothes yet, and my sister makes them. They're legit. Let me see if I can show you guys this quickly. And don't worry, I'm getting back to the stream answering questions, but I think it's pretty cool. I just want to show you guys quick. All right, good. So present, share screen. Okay. Yeah, so this is the clothes here. So this is like the NFT Pirates kind of like sweatshirt that I have. 55 bucks Canadian, so it's not too bad. And like, man, we're like almost just getting costs for this. Like it's pretty much, I think like $2 we're making off the shirt, and it's just to pay for my sister's time. So it's just more for like the community. And there's 3 variants. So there's like just a black one as well. And they have like a hashtag on the back. So we got NFT Pirates. And then on the back it says like Mint Sniper. So, just fun things for the community. So yeah, if you ever want to check out some merch, go for it, man. It's in my my like link tree on Twitter and in the description. Damn, Dre picked up an epic of Superman for only $666 from the market rate after. Good for you, man. I tried to get one at like 500-ish, but got taken up. But that's a really, really great entry. Good for you. Backal or Superman comic? Well, this is the debate right now. So I personally would hit a Backal if like you know, put a gun to my head and you're like, which one if you're a new person coming in, which one would you get? I would definitely get a Backal because you have guaranteed utility every 52 days. You know, we don't know if there's going to be like whitelist to drops. We don't know if they're going to get airdropped. Like, you know, we already got airdropped like Harley Quinn comics, and some of those people got the legendary Harley Quinn comic, which has a floor of like $350. And so, yeah, I mean, you could see the floor on those rise pretty quick, and I think they want to reward the early people. So, you know, do your research, man. Go check out key people that know more about it than me in the community, like the Gale, like Legacy, and those kind of guys. Yeah, because they've got a really, really good take. Yeah, I mean, VV Vibes has a good point here. Still plenty of crazy good DC comics coming. This is just one of many. It's, yeah, maybe I'm kind of saying like, oh, they've only got like 3 major ones, but it's so true. There's like hundreds of amazing ones. So that's a good point. But, you know, Superman #1 is the highest selling comic in real life, 5.3 million. As far as I'm concerned, or that I know of, no comic has sold more than that amount of. Steve Interest says my account was restricted. I couldn't get the drop. Happy my wife got the epic variant. Dude, that's amazing. Yeah, it's like 2K, and that's a great one. You know, 9.4 grade can't go. You know, if you imagine having a 9.4 in real life, amazing. DC doesn't have all that many grails. Yeah, I agree. Like, I think they've got some, you know, some really good drops, but I'm just saying, like, compared to Vivi, who's got like Coke, you know, Givenchy, like James Bond. I mean, they've got Disney, Marvel, Walt Disney. Like, I mean, you know, we can just keep going here, right? And they're, who knows, maybe they got Nintendo and friggin' Pokemon in the bag too. So, yeah. DC mentioned next comic release will be Flash #1. Did they actually say that, Scott? Maybe somebody can confirm. That's crazy. Some people don't think VV collectible comics won't go back to all-time highs, but what's your thoughts? Okay, so here's my thoughts on that, is that VV continues to drop more and more NFTs, and simultaneously more and more platforms are coming out with more licensed IP. And at that same time, we don't have a lot of new users. So pretty much a lot of the money is kind of getting spread around, and it's kind of getting diluted, where people are kind of putting more and more money back into the grails or back into the things that they think are going to do better, and they continue to be like outshined, right? Like, so as an example of this, like Golden Moogly back in the day was huge deals, like, you know, at least 13,000-14,000 to buy. And then now we've got stuff with like almost similar edition counts, like that thing that dropped today, the Grim Reaper, for like 277 editions, and it's going for, I don't know, like $200, right? So I just think it's interesting where we're at. I would say that some things could supersede the values, but the way that I've always looked at it is, when you have major IP first to the blockchain and a good edition size, so like Partners, you know, Darth Vader, all these things, and you have massive demand for those NFTs, then I think that has nothing to do but to go up. And I think that if there's any kind of gamification, avatar utility, skins, you know, VVverse utility, burning, renting, like those kind of things will really kind of help drive the price up as well. But I think some things may exceed all-time highs, and I think other things will never get back. That's kind of my take. I think it depends on what it is, and it also depends on how this market develops. But I'm confident that, you know, like some things will go really, really high. Yeah. Kyle says I'm a hot junkie. Yeah. Andrew says, do a hat drop like sleep in and I will buy. Okay, maybe I gotta do a hat drop then. Damn, you're a workaholic. Man, how far? I feel like I'm so behind in these comics, or these comments, sorry. VV Vibes, personally, Backal for sure. Yeah, right? So, okay, yeah. VV Vibes agrees, like Backal for sure. Jerry, that Superman comic that sold for 5 million is a mile high copy, kind of an outlier. I like that, Jerry. I think that's a good point you bring up. So it's not as if there's, you know, Superman #1s out there. They're selling 5 million every week. You know what I mean? This is a one-time thing that happened, and a lot of it's based on the scarcity of that comic as well. So I think that's a really nice point that Jerry brings up there. Good on you, bro. Yeah, there's like 5 to 6 detective comics alone that go for over 100K. Yeah, so there you go, right? Backal all the way. We can literally wake up tomorrow and Cows could be $1,500, whereas DC can come out with a banger next week, and today's Superman #1 can plummet. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. And that's kind of like where people aren't looking right now. Like you got people putting in like $700-800 of fiat just to get into this Superman, and then all of a sudden, like like Sean says here, Backal start jumping next week. But yeah, man, and again, I just want to take this opportunity to just talk about the Backal holders quick again. They kind of said like they were upset that a lot of the YouTubers weren't really covering all the utility that was being dropped, and some of them were, but I think it is a good point. But the other thing that I'm just going to say quickly too is like Vivi has millions of NFTs, right? The Backals at the time had like just over 11,000, and it's so much easier to provide utility for that size of a project rather than providing it to like everyone, because I said this earlier, like if you're providing people Disney Golden Moments utility, then the people that have the black and white series are going to get upset. And if you give something to the black and white series, and all the Spider-Man holders are going to say, what about us? And so it's like so hard because the ship is so much bigger there. But yeah, man, the Mile High collection is a very famous collection. Yeah, man, I think the Miles High Club has a good way to go, but yeah, VV Vive, some NFTs won't see all-time highs again, but a good portion of them will, though. Yeah, so we agree on that. Uncommon was way more weather than the common, which I thought was weird, but uncommon is the one variant that has date on it. Yeah, exactly. So maybe they're just seeing if people are interested in that uncommon because it's so unique and different. Yeah. Vivi needs to get MCP rolled out, take a break from the drops. Yeah, man. I hope so too. Like I really think that they should. It'd be really important for them, to do that because it's important, man. It's important for all these holders that have like 100 plus sets and they're just waiting for something. VV Marvel Mighties are gamification utilities, and people own Marvel Mighties collectibles only play the games, is what people think. Your thoughts on that? Okay, so yeah, so I think the biggest thing that could come from VV is that the one thing that I learned so much from Trevor was when we talked about the interoperability between metaverses or different games. He's like, it's so difficult to do because what happens is that Vivi will use a certain software or certain things that will project the lighting on these collectibles in certain ways and it'll move in certain ways. And if you go to another platform, like they're not compatible, like then you'd have to transfer that asset and do all these other things to it and for it to operate in this other place. But what makes way more sense, which I had a conversation with Superstar Money about, who kind of told me all this concept was like mint to play, which essentially is just like you mint something on Vivi and then you could play with it in another place. So for instance, like let's say I minted a Captain Marvel Mighty or something like that, right? All of a sudden, I can go over to a game that was just created and just put in like my code or whatever from Vivi, and then all of a sudden, boom, I get that same character but in another place. So I think that's very possible. And I'm hoping for that. Like, I think that's kind of what, I'm kind of going for. And I'm hoping that like, some of the more bigger IP that is really scarce and popular, like some of our grails also have that type of thing happen, So this person says, I have an idea and all sub 100 NFTs for MCP only. Yeah, that's funny. At what point do you think new users will no longer be early on VV? That's a good question, man. So the thing is that like VV's whole thing works on mass adoption. So just like what we saw in January, we almost saw a hint of what could happen. And if we do have mass adoption, then you have to think about some of these edition sizes in comparison to the fan bases in the world. So just to come up with a superficial example like Miles, the reason that I was bullish on that character, even though it might not be huge to a lot of other people, but like they just had a PS5 game came out where like 35 million people bought copies of that. You don't think there's like 160 people that'd be interested in having like the most rare variant or have the capacity to buy it if they're all interested in NFTs? And that's just one game. So that's kind of what I'm trying to say. Like if we get the mass adoption and we see that like in 2025 with like augmented reality and like blockchain being like utilized almost everywhere, then I think that it's a really, really good chance that a lot of these people kind of come into it, man. Yeah, Pixel Trader says agreed. MCP burning mechanics, comics, and showrooms will help. VV has a lot they can do. Yeah, man, I agree. Scott Gladys, DC NFT tweeted our next drop strikes the comic books marketplace like lightning on Thursday, November 3rd. I'm thinking it might mean Flash One. Damn, that's crazy, man. So like think about that. Like that's just so fast that's going on. You know what I mean? Like think about that. All of a sudden now they're coming out with like Imagine Flash #1. So this is a good thing because you know, maybe in this bear market, there's not enough people that are like that can like uphold the actual worth a lot of what these NFTs could be. So it's this huge opportunity right now. Like, you know, maybe you didn't get Superman #1, but even getting like first appearance Harley Quinn comic for like $250, let's just say, for a legendary, like that's still pretty epic, man. That burn, turn, and mechanic for comics is going to flip the market on its head. I love it. Yeah. And, you know, VV Vibes, man, what if they just all of a sudden took down all the fucking bot accounts? And they're like, we have just burned every bot account. All of a sudden, Secret Rare Spider-Man drops to 492. You know what I mean? What if Marvel 1 drops down Secret Rare to like 288? You know what I mean? Like all these things that they could do. And then on top of that, that's just like getting started. Then all of a sudden, what do they start actually burning this stuff up themselves or people? Because they're like, hey, if you burn your Secret Rare Spider-Man, then you like, let's say you burn that with like a really good comic, all of a sudden you get like a black suit Spider-Man or something for like 100 editions. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm just throwing things out here, but like there's so much potential and there's so many things. So we just gotta kind of stay bullish. It's the same thing that's happened with Bitcoin and continuous iterations. Like, you know, back in the day, people literally had 10,000 Bitcoins, were buying pizza with it, and now one of them costs, you know, at least $20,000, right? So I think we're going to see the same things here. Like, and the principles, you have to be convicted on your principles. Like today, I'm telling you right now, when I saw that legendary come out at 3,300 and I had the opportunity to buy it and I didn't because I got greedy and saw those other prices, like I should have just known in my gut that like that was a great entry. But instead I got greedy. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, well, what else can I do? But that was a great entry. So that's what I'm trying to say is like you got to know in your gut like where this stuff can go. And that's how I felt about Todd back in the day. And Superman, when I was picking off Supermans for $70, I was like, this is a big deal. Like, this has got to go somewhere. Like, there's no way this doesn't go anywhere. And, you know, it did, right? It flew away. It went to 5 to 9K. So that's what I'm trying to say is like you just got to think to yourself, like, does this make sense? Yeah, okay, first in the blockchain, yes it is. Okay, what's the in real life value? Oh, it's massive. Okay, what's the popularity of the character? Okay, what is the user base on VV? Do you think they're going to be interested in it? Oh, you know, and then you got to just do your analysis and you go look to like Harley Quinn. You're like, oh, there is, you know, 17 Harley Quinns being dropped on VV now. What do you think the 17th is going to be worth that has like, you know, 1,500 editions? Probably not much, right? So like a lot of people are giving you guys that information. Like I'm definitely not the best at it, but there's a lot of great info out there, man. Hey Chad, so what's your next move with DC? If you're okay to share more Backals? Yeah, man, I think like definitely I'm gonna try to get another Backal. Um, I'm just trying to see if you know the like right now there's a lot of hype around it, but I do think the floor will go up for sure. And obviously not financial advice. But I just think that like the utility that you would get with a Backal is pretty epic. And like who knows, man? Like maybe the holders will, you know, and also like the Legacy Cal first comic on the blockchain, like, and then they have helped design the comic story. So there's a lot of cool things that you get out of it. And it's almost like similar to a Todd to me. And who knows, like what if it is like the recur pass, right? For DC, who knows, man? What if it is, right? What if all of a sudden you need that Cal to get whitelisted for something? I don't know, but there's no guarantees. But I think it's pretty epic, man, and a lot of people are really into it right now. The Mile High collection is the most famous and valuable comic book collection known to surface in the history of comic book collecting. Oh, okay, this isn't a joke. I think Jerry's serious. The collection consists of between 18,000 and 22,000 comic books, most of them in high quality grades, and was discovered and bought in 1977. Well, Jerry, I mean, I'm not gonna I'll put it this way. I'm not gonna say I know what you're talking about because I don't. But if anyone can verify that, I mean, that sounds pretty wild. And maybe I did a good choice of naming the Miles Secret Rare Club the Miles High Club then, because if that is the case, that's pretty friggin' epic, man. VV vibes, that would be nuts. Yeah, I like burning multiple NFTs that give a new unique one. Like if you burn the entire AF15 comic set, you get a gold plated or holographic version of it. That's what I'm saying. Like these opportunities could happen, right? And as VV's team grows, like, you know, maybe that they bring on more people that are going to be like those creative thought leaders that can actually implement some of this stuff. That sounds dope AF. Yeah, I agree, man. That's a good one by VV Vibes. Go check out VV Vibes, man. Check out his channel. He's epic. Have we talked about missing the 10-cent stamp on the new Superman comic? Looks like identical to the 2022 reprint. So, Gabriel, what are you saying? You're saying that you think that it looks cheap that way because it looks more like a facsimile? Is that what you're trying to say? Or are you saying that you think it's like more close to the real one and you think therefore it's a better thing? What do you like? I'd like for you to elaborate on that, man. That's pretty cool. Yep, follow your gut. I picked up Beeple every day for 4K for 2 years ago. Wife thought I was crazy buying a JPEG, sold it for 6 figures months later. That's what I'm saying, bro. Good for you. That's insane, bro. Yo, Jung Park says I bought a Backal from your interview with Matt. Chad, thanks. My pleasure, man. You made at least 2 extra money on it already. Got a bunch of airdrops, probably made 1,000. So 3x. I'm happy for you, man. And then on top of that, now you know about Superman #1. And if you landed today, then damn, more money in your pocket, buddy. So I'm glad, man. And one thing I just want to tell you guys, like I don't want to hype up Superman #1. Like I want Superman #1. So this is actually hard for me to be on the stream right now and be like, saying how important it is, but I'm just trying to be real with you guys. It's super important, man. Pure chaos. If Disney Marvel comes out with their own platform and you're able to move all of your IPs over, would you? Well, it depends I'm ultimately doing what's best for me, right? Like I love VV and I love what they provided, but if I can move those assets onto Disney's platform and they're offering me all these different incentives there, then yeah, I probably would. And then maybe retain some of the other stuff that I have on VV for other things. But I think that they're way more closely collaborated than people think and know at this point. I've got a pretty good feeling that like when we have the VV verse that it's going to pair in with the Disneyverse, or that it could be the Disneyverse or one of those things. Like I feel like there's going to be some great connection because like I said before, there's no way Disney is so dumb that they would give their best IP imaginable to VV and then be like, oh, we're going to redo stuff on our blockchain. I feel like, and it would also look bad that they wouldn't like want them to partner. They would like be taking it away. I just think it would be bad for business. It would really damage the community and the people that brought this whole thing up from the bottom. So yeah, man, I think there's a big future. It's just going to take time. That's the problem, right? It takes time, right? It's like, think about those guys that were in 2013 holding Bitcoin and they had 10,000 Bitcoin, and the guy's like, man, it's up to like $1.20. Like, let me sell that shit, bro. And the guy's like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, that's 10K in my pocket. Think about this. Think about when the whole fucking world is using metaverses or using like augmented reality, virtual technology like that, whether that's 5, 10, 15 years away, and you've got the one of 150 Superman #1 comics, which you probably never will be able to see in the physical realm, and you've got that sitting on your shelf or like in a hologram format, if you got that locked up in your vault, right? That's what I'm trying to say. Like it's a far away, it's very far away, but we're gonna get there, man. Like it's just a matter of time, especially with this new generation popping up. Like once they start working and getting money, like that's what they're gonna be buying. They're not gonna care about the physical stuff. Like, man, I told you I bartend, and sometimes I see like kids come in with their families and they're just on their iPads or doing shit on the phone the whole time. Like they're not playing with a Ken doll. You know what I mean? They're not like reading a comic book. They're playing games or doing things like that. So I think the world's changing, man. And it's either you're gonna, jump onto the change, or you're gonna recede into the old, societal standards that you've known your whole life, right? This is where the world's going. It's similar to where the internet started and people jumped onto that and became super successful. This is the next wave, and I want to catch it this time, man. What's up, Palace? Good to see you, bro. VV vibes. Oh yeah, you made me bullish as fuck for back calls with your interview. Bought one of them, then phone went into another with 5 minutes left to buy one. Glad I did. Good for you, man. Nicely done. I'm happy that you did that, bro. Okay, so this is what I was saying. Remember earlier I asked Gabriel about this. So he kind of elaborated here. So he goes, if you look at the facsimiles that came out this year, it's identical to it. The original comic has a big 10-cent emblem on the top right-hand corner of the circle surrounding Superman. Super interesting. So this guy is obviously probably, a pretty good comic book, collector, and probably knows the stuff better than I do. And, he's making this comparison. He's saying it looks a lot like the facsimile. So this is, again, the debate. This is where people are either going to say one of two things. They're going to say it's just a fad. NFTs are a fad. It's just pretty much the digital, version of the actual comic. They'll say, it wasn't imagineered in the digital reality. Like Superman, the reason that it's so valuable in real life is because, this isn't the first appearance. I think it's Action Comics #1. But my point is that like it was imagined in these comics, right? It was, put together by people and it was imagined there. And then all subsequent things from that kind of stem from this original comic, and now we're bringing that comic in a digital replication into the blockchain space and saying, oh, this is the same value as that original. And I don't think we ever get there. Maybe we share a piece of it, but what I think happens here is that we can offer so much digitally that we can't offer physically. And if the company DC is dropping that and saying this is their collectible comic, like this is their NFT version of that comic and it's shared IP, which again, they haven't come out and said that. They've just kind of said this is like the Superman #1 comic. Then I think it should still hold a lot of significance because of what you can do for it. But maybe you're right. Maybe you'll never get to that point where it was in real life. And I think that's why, again, a lot of the stuff that is non-IP based, again, silly example, but like Base C, why you see these prices soar, because it's the first time that these things are being imagined and created and stuff like that. So that's why I'm really bullish on kind of some of the in the middle stuff. Like for instance, like Secret Rare Spider-Man or Miles Morales SR, or like Partners, where in real life there's not really like collectible pieces that are like animated like that and jump and do these different things. And now like on the blockchain, they're like still stemming from IP, but they're kind of new in a way. So I think it's kind of interesting. VV vibes. Today has been a great day, man. Got the Superman comic. Chat is streaming. Comey finally followed me on Twitter. Laugh out loud. Yes, man. That's awesome, bro. I'm really happy to hear that, bro. That's so cool. Good for you, man. Good for you. Yeah, that's great. Wow, I finally caught up to all these comments, and you know what? Should I end it soon, guys? I feel like it's been a little while. Maybe I'll just kind of say my final piece here, and then I'll probably tune it off. But it's difficult that you're not going to land these drops all the time. I'm not one to land drops, right? And the problem with not landing drops is that you can't build leverage. So what happens is that like when I joined VV, I got all these TODs at retail. I used those TODs to buy other things. I was in early, so I was able to kind of see how I can flip my way up and grow a collection. And that's what's powering behind it. It's like, that's what's giving you that motivation, because you're like, I can make a lot of money, I can continue to scale. And when you're now in this market, like I don't land drops, right? And so the thing that like is what you have to do is be really like research focused and really intelligent and calculated about what you're trying to accomplish. And I think the best thing that I've been doing that is making me a lot more calm is just DCAing and not being upset if I don't land something. Like if I don't get a Superman #1 ever, like I still have other things that I could be proud of, right? But I would say, to ensure that you actually go and like find something that you're really proud of and that you actually love to connect or collect, and that's like limited, scarce, and will mean something long term, and hold that thing. And that will give you kind of like a passion, and when you wake up in the morning, be like, oh, I have that, right? Like I might not have this and that, but I do have that. You got an RDR8, you might not have the Lamborghini Gallardo, or you might not have the Bugatti Veyron, but you've got something there. So yeah. And I think the second thing that I just want to say too is just with the Backals, do more research, follow the people that are very intelligent about the utility that they provided, about where they're going and what they're capable of. And I'm not saying like FOMO in. That's not what I'm trying to say. Like this is never financial advice. I don't know if this stuff is all going to go to zero tonight, right? I have no idea. But just start looking at it. Like they provide utility every 52 days. They've been airdropped a lot of things. And if there's any kind of whitelist or any kind of future utility, man, like just, you don't want to miss out, right? But again, if it's a stretch and that's a lot of money, $700 is not cheap for a lot of people, then just, hold off, right? Like don't FOMO in, especially when there's hype right now. But just, consider if that's something that you want, that might be worth your while, right? So, yeah. And so I got some sweet comments in here again. Picture Trader says, have any interview planned soon? Yeah, man. So I just want to let you guys know I'm actually interviewing the CEO of Quid tomorrow. The CEO of Quid tomorrow is coming on for an interview. I am going to challenge him. I'm going to ask him about ownership. I'm going to ask him about all these things first to the blockchain. I'm going to get into a really, really heavy conversation and see what he says. And again, like I'm not just doing this because I'm trying to have like, bigger CEOs on the channel. I'm doing it for my own learning as well, to see what they have to say. So yeah, it'll be interesting. So I've got him lined up. I've got some people from the Miles High Club that I'd like to bring onto the channel as well as some like high rollers in there. Uh, I've got a few people like lined up that are kind of just key community members. I'd like to get Silicon back on again soon as well as some other whales. So yeah, man, I want to just keep these chats rolling. It's my favorite part. Favorite thing is like I'm learning just like you guys. My goal is to be, and this is people are gonna fucking laugh at me, but my goal is to be the Joe Rogan of the licensed IP interviews. Like just this chill guy gets on with you, talks about it, talks about the excitement, where it could go, and just learn from you. Hopefully, ask some good questions, and yeah, that's kind of where I'm going, man. The long form talks are always interesting. I agree. I think that's where a lot of the ideas are generated. DC blows is downhill from them, downhill for them from here. BB is the bomb. Yeah, man, BB is amazing, but I think DC's got a lot of other things on the way, brother. Checking out Uncommon. I like this rating system better than VV's. Pages have actually bled onto other pages on it. Not sure if I love or hate it. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, right? When you're used to something. I do not have a Superman comic yet, man. I do not. I just think that right now I'm still kind of trying to calculate. I really would like a legendary. I think I told everybody, but I had a chance today around 3,300, and I got greedy. I saw some other ones come in that were cheaper, and then I tried to get them, and they're all reserved. While I went back to that, it was gone. Then I was knocked out of the queue system. Came back later, everything was 4K plus. Had another opportunity at like $6,000, and I think that's where the floor is at now. But 6,000 US is like 8,500 my money. So, and I'm just like, you know what? Got a lot of good things. I don't need to FOMO in. I probably will at some point, but I'm just playing things out. Maybe there'll be another drop. Maybe the recession gets worse. So I'm not FOMOing. It's just got to be calculated and just got to be proud of what I've got too. So although I'm really happy for people that landed the legendary today. Like think about that, man. People were landing legendaries today. 150 people did that. So it's pretty remarkable. Thanks for the stream. My pleasure, man. Thank you guys. Yo, so good, man. I learned that you need to chase everything, every grail. It's okay to like let them go. I agree. You got to let them go sometimes. Can you ask him why the quit app spams the shit out of my phone with notifications? I definitely will do that. You're looking crispy on my new phone rig. Thanks, bro. Post econ group, it would be fun. Yes, Chad is gonna grill some quid tomorrow. Yes, sir. Give him hell. I love that. Give him hell. I will. All right. Thanks so much, everybody. Yo, thanks for chilling with me. Hope you guys have a great day. Subscribe to NFT Pirates if you haven't done so, and let's get these streams going more. And thanks to everybody showing up. Great conversations today. Peace, everyone.